McCord and welcome to The Real Deal on thestir.com. Before we even get to today's news, let me assure you that the text for this broadcast was written and edited 100% by me. No one else even saw it. But I digress. Let's talk about Housewives. We've got Atlanta, the reunion of Beverly Hills Part 1, and New York City, and gossip from around the country. Woo! So, Atlanta. Episode 18 of Season 6 found the gals all still in Mexico. Kenya Moore is trying to control everything all the time. Now, sometimes she wins, sometimes she loses. First, Kenya was winning, just like Charlie Sheen, when she attacked Porsha Stewart. Last week, Porsha was given a storyline on a golden platter. She had an opportunity to trash her ex-husband and she waffled, backpedaled, and sounded stupid. Kenya seized the reins and controlled the narrative herself. Because Porsha couldn't get her words out, Kenya spoke for her. Now we, the viewers, all believe that Porsha was some hired wife that covered for her gay husband Cordell, and he divorced her because she brought too much publicity to the relationship for being on the Housewives. We don't know anything else because Porsha couldn't tell us. So Kenya told us. Whether it's true or not, that's what's out there. Score one for Kenya. Now, where I think Kenya failed miserably was with Apollo. This is where I think producers must all think that we, the viewers, have the attention span of a gnat and the memory of a toddler with ADHD drinking Red Bull. Come on. We covered the Apollo and Kenya storyline 2 months ago. It's done, dead, buried. Either Kenya took it upon herself or producers told her bring the storyline back and try to get Apollo alone in Mexico. Now, no matter whose idea it was, Kenya had help. The men went out for cigars. Kenya crashed with 5 rounds of tequila shots, and once she was alone with Apollo, someone went and whispered in Phaedra's ear, "Hey, Kenya's alone with your husband. You better go see what's going on." Well, Kenya did corner Apollo, and no matter how she kept trying to tell him what he was thinking, he came through loud and clear, and he did not agree. He doesn't care about Kenya. If he wanted to try and seduce her, he would have tried. He didn't care enough. The end. Kenya loses. Also this week, I loved Peter as Oprah Part 2. He's trying to be everyone's therapist, isn't he? This week it was Candy and Todd. That was a lot of foreshadowing. I'm a little scared to think of what might happen next there. That's interesting to me. That's going to make me tune in. But in all the Atlanta mayhem I had to cover this week, I can't forget about Nene on Dancing with the Stars. Not bad. Not bad. Better than Lisa. I don't think we'll see Nene fainting, but hey, it's episode 1, so we'll see. Now, on to the reunion part 1 of Beverly Hills. But before we get to the on-screen drama, I have to talk to you about a first in Housewives history. Brandi Glanville wins an award. She is the first housewife ever to have an online petition created begging Bravo to fire her. I mean, she's not the first hated housewife. People used to hate Vicki Gunvalson. They certainly hated Jill Zarin for a good long time, and I have never ever seen a positive story about Kenya Moore. But a petition to fire someone on change.org? Wow. Well, while watching the first part of the reunion this week, I found myself thinking that they ran through the boring packages first. What is a package, you might ask? Well, it is not my husband's profile in leather pants, nor is it Joyce's husband, nor Carlton's donkey. A package is a montage of clips from the season that went before. And normally at reunions, each housewife has her own package, plus there are 4 or 5 montages of memorable moments or vacations or groups, something like that. So in the reunion part 1, we saw Kim and Joyce and the Dream Team and Everybody Hates Lisa. Does anyone else think that this is Kim Richards' last season? I mean, Andy was so respectful and asked her so many times how it was for her doing the Housewives. I will bet you a pair of Herman Munster boots, she's gone. And Joyce, ooh, she pulled a Porsha Stewart. She let Brandi take over her package. Joyce's montage became all about whether or not Brandi was racist. And I felt at the end that we didn't get to know Joyce at all. I predict that unless they can't find any decent new blood next season, she'll be gone too. And throughout all of this, I found myself wanting to either hug or slap Yolanda. Was she suffering from Lyme disease when she signed the contract? Now, I don't mean to make fun of it. I'm thrilled, actually, and grateful that she shined a light on it. It is a debilitating disease that not enough people know about. However, I think that somehow Yolanda didn't understand what she was signing up for when she agreed to be a housewife. You might be close friends with your cast members, but only while you're filming and only while while it serves you. Lisa, in the off-season, got busy. It doesn't mean she doesn't care, but I just don't understand how hard it is to comprehend. You haven't known all these people since high school. You were cast for a job. They are work friends. You haven't known them your whole life. I hope the Beverly Hills reunion gets better, and I think it will, because I think they're saving the most interesting montages for last. Are you ready to see what happens to Brandi Glanville? I think she's going down. Oi. Okay, let's move on to New York City, where it's a tale of two ghostwriters. Screaming banshees. Holy moly God, it's Bookgate. Well, before we get to Aviva and Carole, I'm hijacking my own show for just a moment. I really appreciated this Bookgate episode because I'm a writer too. But what does being a writer mean? Let's explore. All three of Aviva and Carole's books, and mine, are between 200 and 300 words. That is basically 50 to 60,000 words total. Now, I don't know how long Carole and Aviva's books took to write, but ours took 6 months. My husband Simon and I shared the byline. Ta-da! Our publisher did assign an editor to it, and she checked for typos, and she asked us in one case, do you really want to go there? And she asked us in another case to define a pop culture reference from before she was born. That's it. Done. The end. Divide 60,000 words by 6 months, and that's about 2,300 words a week. Today, between writing the script for these shows and all the other places I write for, I'm writing 7,700 words a week. Way more. Somehow, although I wasn't one before, now I'm a writer. Always under the gun, always on deadline, always with my hair on fire, staying up way past the kids being in bed with way too much wine. And I've ghostwritten for other people. So, this whole Carole and Aviva ghostwriter accusation was very interesting to me. I was Team Carole for the first 15 minutes. She said of editing, anything over 2 letters, you have to call me. I got that. But both writers got mean. Both Aviva and Carole needed a whole case of the bitch wine. Carole couldn't believe that someone who didn't grow up a writer had a burning idea and wanted to write it down. Carole was really condescending and awful to Aviva. She seemed to think that unless you have a journalism degree, you can't just wake up one day and start writing. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can. Doesn't mean it will be good, but you can. Carole seems like one of those old school factory employees who cannot understand that now there's a new worker who can do her job in half the time because she has a different work ethic. She's grown up being whipped to produce at a faster pace. Now, Aviva loses because she's spreading gossip around like poison Nutella. Carole's first drafts were bad. Her publishers didn't like it. She needed a co-writer on book 1. Now, incidentally, needing a co-writer doesn't contradict with being a control freak in the edit. You know, you might not want anyone to change a single word of what you've written, but that doesn't mean you wrote it. Now, rebound. Carole shoots back at Aviva that Aviva was on her 3rd writer, and on and on and on, shoot me in the head. Here's my take. Both of their first books were memoirs, autobiographies, the story of their lives. When it comes to writing an autobiography, unless you don't have hands and can't type, you should write it yourself. Otherwise, there's no point writing it at all. Now, did anything else in New York happen this week? Yes. I appreciated that amidst all the psychobabble about books and ghostwriters, we had one really lovely moment. Heather paid tribute to the 25-year-old who died and gave her son an organ so that he could live. That was amazing. One thing I noticed across the board on Housewives this week, did you see that everybody is quoting New York City Season 3? I mean, was that the best season of Housewives ever? And I'm not saying that because I was on it. But on Atlanta this week, Candy said, "It's turtle time!" And on New York this week, Aviva said, "I'm up here and you're down there," to Carole. Well, didn't I tell you last week that Aviva is threatening to become the new Kelly as she gets more and more unhinged? But seriously, if you're gonna be a housewife, you have enough to deal with producers meddling. You can at least come up with your own one-liners. Don't steal from other housewives. That's sloppy. Finally, in other news, the commercials for Orange County have begun, and it is true. No more Gretchen Rossi. No more Alexis Bellino. Are you sad? And in New Jersey, Teresa and Joe Giudice have pled guilty to their 41 counts of fraud. Their sentencing will be in July. Now, that gives them plenty of time to finish this season that's currently filming and probably also shoot the reunion. So here's my question. Given that Atlanta's Phaedra Parks lost her spinoff because of her husband Apollo's legal trouble, Do you think that Bravo will fire Teresa and Joe after this new season is over? Let me know what you thought in the comments and questions for next week. For now, I am Alex McCord. You are watching The Real Deal on thestir.com. See you next time.